Welcome to Christy's Bits of Wisdom podcast. I'm your host, Christy. My goal is to help you start your mornings off right by sharing a short story or a parable that will motivate and encourage you to live your best life with God. By using the infinite wisdom found in His Word, you truly can live a life of happiness and peace in Christ. I'm living proof. I hope you'll stick around and subscribe. Also, if you like what you hear, please share with your friends and family so they can scoop up some bits of wisdom for themselves. Hey guys, welcome to today's episode of the podcast. Today I want to call this one Getting Out of Our Comfort Zone. So, yeah, it seems like that is a term that I have heard so much lately, and it seems like it's been coming mostly from influencers. And you guys know I hate that word, influencers. I despise that. I don't know, because especially because the people who are called influencers usually want to influence you to live a lifestyle that is not good. The influencers are like the Kardashians, and all they're about is money and makeup and looks, and it's all superficial. It's all on the outside. I wish that we could call our spiritual leaders influencers, because if anybody's going to influence me, I want it to be somebody who can influence me to serve the Lord and to follow Him. So I think we have it all backwards in this country or in the world today. So, but anyway, I notice a lot of the videos that I see on Facebook or YouTube. These people who are part of multi-level marketing companies, MLMs, they use that term a lot. Get out of your comfort zone. Come and sell whatever product they're trying to recruit you to sell. You know, so yeah, it's kind of overused. But anyway, according to Cambridge Dictionary, it's defined as a situation in which you feel comfortable and in which your ability and determination are not being tested. Wow, that sounds pretty good though. I mean, that sounds pretty good. Imagine imagine a place in your life or living in such a way where you're not being asked to put forth any effort or have, just use any ability to do anything. Imagine just being able to sit around all day long and just do nothing, watch TV, eat snacks. Imagine not having to get up and go to work. You don't have to set that alarm for 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. You don't have to go work out. You don't have to pay bills or go clock in somewhere where you probably don't want to be. You don't have deadlines to meet or meetings to attend. You just do whatever you want to do. Well, it sounds great. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that, right? Like, like I just imagine my quote unquote perfect life or my comfort zone would be laying on white sand somewhere on an island, listen to the ocean all stinking day long. That would be my comfort zone. Um, I love the beach, so yeah, that would be pretty perfect. But what do you think would happen if we all lived that type of life every day? One where we just stayed comfortable all of the time. Well, first let me ask what happens when we get comfortable. Um, think about the last time that you had worked all day long and you were so tired at the end of the day that when you got home, all you wanted to do was just plop down on the couch or in your favorite chair and just relax. Or let's say, when your kids were little and you were working in the house all day long and taking care of your kids, and you just thought, well, what I would give, for a nap, for a 10-minute nap. I mean, what would happen if you were to just throw up your hands and just lay down on the couch? Well, if you're like me, and I suspect that you are because we're all alike, the Bible tells us that we're all men of like passions. That means we all go through the same thing. We all have the same feelings. No matter what people want to say, we might not all struggle with the same thing, but at one point in our life, we're all going to experience the same thing. But anyway, if you're like me, when you plop down You get drowsy and your eyelids get really heavy. And you think, I'm just going to close them for just a second. And then before you know it, you've been taken captive by Mr. Sandman and you're in the land of sweet sleep. And you're now his prisoner for a while. That feels good. I mean, it really feels good to doze off and sleep after, when you're super tired and you just can't go any longer. I mean, at least adults love sleep. I know my son didn't love it when he was little. He used to fight sleep really bad. But after he grew up, see now he on his days off he kind of he would sleep all day if I didn't go and pound on his door and say, Josh, get up, it's 11 o'clock in the morning. But anyway, um so you know how it feels. And I get that way too, like on Thanksgiving Day after I eat that turkey. I mean, I get so sleepy, I just want to lay down. But anyway, that's what happens to us in our spiritual lives too. There's times when we're tired and we're worn out from having fought so many trials day after day after day that we just want to lay down and sleep. We don't want to fight anymore because we're weary from the battles. So instead of going to God and recharging, we take it upon ourselves to just sit down for a while and relax. I remember last year when I was going through chemo and cancer, I would say, I can't wait until this is over and I could just rest for a while. It's because I'd been fighting so hard that all I wanted to do was just escape the battle and rest. But I had to remember that whenever I felt like that, it was okay to lay in bed and allow my body to rest. But I had to remember to take my mental and my emotional and my spiritual battles to God and give them to Him in exchange for His peace. I couldn't just throw in the towel and give up. So I knew where to take my body. Hey, your body has to rest. That's natural. But I had to take everything else to the Lord. And I know I keep reiterating that verse in Matthew 11:28 that tells us where Jesus said, Come unto me, all ye who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Well, He's the only one who can. He's the only one who can give us true rest. So let's say, though, that you're not one of those people who are fighting battles right now. Let's say you're listening to this and your life is hunky dory. It couldn't get no better. You're not worn out. Let's say you're in a season of this wonderful harvest right now, and you're on top of the mountain, like the old saints used to say at my old church. Seems like everything in your life is great. You're satisfied. You're full, as if you've just eaten a big meal. But it's just as easy in those times to get comfortable and want to rest as it is after you've been fighting for your life. Because everything is great. Your life is good. Your kids are well behaved. Work is fantastic. Maybe you got a raise. Maybe you're on vacation. I mean, you get the point, right? Like life is just great. And you're satisfied. Like you can't think of anything else that you would want. And I know we're supposed to be content. I know I talked about that a couple of times. We're supposed to be content with whatever state we find ourselves in. But being content and being complacent are two different things. So let's say everything is just perfect in your life. So what do? You lay down and you relax and you forget what it's like to struggle and you've forgotten what it's like to stay on your knees and ask God for help. And you've forgotten what it's like to depend on Him because now you feel safe and secure when you look at your checking account and see those six figures. I mean, that's a pretty secure feeling. I know what that feels like, but I have to always remember like, hey, remember the one who has blessed you. When we get like that, we forget what it's like to go to God for comfort when it seems like, you're all alone. Like in the times when you're lonely and you go to God for comfort, and He's almost like He's the only one that's there. Because now, let's say you're surrounded by all your friends and family, and everything is great, and everything feels great and feels whole. So you forget about God. Before you know it, when you're in that position, before you know it, It's like the enemy has lulled you to sleep with lies about how you can do it all on your own. And that's called self sufficiency. And God never meant for us to be independent from Him. I see a lot of people on social media, especially like on my friends list on Facebook. Um, I see a lot, not a lot, but I see several women who post things about I, me, my, I did it. And I always think, don't you remember where you used to be? And don't you know that it's God who's brought you to where you are now? And sometimes I want to reach out to him, but I know not to because unsolicited advice is never accepted. Nobody ever wants unsolicited advice, or nobody ever wants to hear anything that they're not ready to hear. So I just kind of keep it to myself, and I try to post things to let people know that you can't do it on your own. You have to have God. Um, Jesus tells us in John 15:5, I am the vine and you are the branches. Whoever abides in me and I am him, he it is that bears much fruit. For apart from me, you can do nothing. And I always say that. I always say that every day. I say, I can do nothing, especially when somebody says, like, a good remark, or a good compliment about how my book helped them or how a video I made helped them. I'm very careful to let them know that it wasn't me. It's not me. I can do nothing. It was the Lord. It was God that it was God that they saw in that video. It was God they saw, in the post or the book or whatever. I can do nothing. It's all Him. I'm not self-sufficient. I learned that many years ago. Um, but the whispers of the enemy in our ears is so soft and it sounds so good that we just end up just nodding right off into the place of complacency where he wants us to be. We think, oh, I've got this, I've got money in the bank. I've got, like, all my bills are paid, I'm fed, I'm happy, everything's going great, my job's going great, just got a promotion, just got a raise, everything's fine, kids are being good. And then we no longer care about the things of God. We no longer pray like we used to or sing praises out to Him because we're in a place of slumber. And God warns us in His Word against being in that place spiritually. And David compares it to death. In Psalms 13:3, he says, Consider and answer me, O Jehovah my God, lighten my eyes, lest I sleep the sleep of death. And in 1 Thessalonians 5, we're told not to sleep, but to watch and be sober. Now, God doesn't have anything against natural sleep. Don't misunderstand me, please. He actually made our bodies to where we have to lay down and recharge for at least 8 hours every night, or we're supposed to. A lot of us don't get that much sleep every night, but that's what scientists and doctors say is like optimal, at least 8 hours. Anything less than that, and it kind of takes a toll on us. But I'm referring to a place of slumber where the enemy wants each and every one of us. Because when we are spiritually asleep, we're no longer paying attention to our lives or to the things of God. And before you know it, when we finally do wake up, things have gotten so far out of control that we don't know what happened. I've been there. I got there many years ago. I mean, several years ago, I was there. I got in a situation and I was like, what happened? I don't know what happened, but it was because I wasn't paying attention. And then we question, how could things have gone so wrong? How did all this happen? Well, because, like I said, because we're asleep and we don't pay attention. We let our guards down for just 1 second. We got comfortable for just a minute. When that happens and the adversary has us where he wants us, he'll pounce on our lives and he'll wreak havoc. He'll tear it down and he'll stop at nothing short of destroying everything that we know, everything that we have. And then we find ourselves scrambling to get out of the messes that we're in. We try to get fully woke up by crying out to God. Then we fast and ask Him for His help. we're angry at the devil because of his tricks and we blame him. Oh, it was the enemy for bringing this into my life. He did this, he did this. Then we get mad at ourselves when we finally realize for allowing him to lull us into that place of comfort where we lost our ability to discern his dirty tactics. See, the Bible tells us, to watch, that the devil, our adversary, the devil, walks around like a roaring lion seeking whom he may devour. But we let our guard down and he attacked us, and then everything fell apart. But God doesn't want us in the comfort zone. He wants us to be sober and vigilant. 1 Peter 5:8 says, watching for the enemy so that he doesn't gain ground in our lives. I want to close with this. Mark 14:38 sums it up really well. Watch ye and pray, lest ye enter into temptation. The spirit truly is ready, but the flesh is weak. And there's times when we all get weary and we all get weak. But laying down to rest spiritually is never the answer. Because like I said before, Jesus said to come to him and he will give us rest. So we have to take our worries to the Lord, and we have to stay awake in our spirit, because that's the only way to win against the enemy. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. If you're listening to it on YouTube, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel, give it a like, leave a comment if you want to, and I will catch you guys tomorrow.